So once we have imported the data, we found out there is a null column EHLFE that we have discarded. And we also found out that there are some categorical data which is coming in numerical data. Okay. And then dependent variable is total amount, which is a numeric variable. We need to use regression models to predict the numeric variable. Okay, got it? So info is a very important command where you get the detailed understanding of the variables in terms of types and all. Right. Now, you have to have knowledge, right? You should have understanding of the data. Sometimes you need to have the domain understanding also, which you will get either through client interaction or you have to study on your own and get it. I don't know how many of you are familiar with online betting. Now, a lot of startups are in online betting. A lot of data analysis is being done on online betting. A lot of machine learning models are being built. We have seen our previous batch students in Capgemini working on online betting clients. Now, if you are familiar with online betting, you will be able to work with the data. If you're not familiar, you have to understand those terms and terminologies, gain domain knowledge, and then you have to start work on the like betting amount, first deposit, second deposit, like spread. Spread means difference between you betting on or how much return you will get on your bet. That we call it as spread. So all these terminologies you have to understand. Then only you will be able to work on the. Now let us split our data into numeric and object calls. So passenger count, trip distance, fare amount, extra, tax, tip amount, tolls amount, surcharge, total amount. These are all numeric variables. We'll paste them here. One more variable. So these are our numerical. Object calls is equal to green taxi, double square bracket, store and forward flag, rate code ID, payment type, and now location IDs are geographic location IDs, date time. We'll work on them later. As of now, PU means pickup, DO means drop off. PU location means pickup location ID, DO means drop off location ID. And then you have date time, pickup date time and drop off. MTA tax, a mobility tax, Metropolitan Commuter and Transportation Mobility Tax. So what happens is, if you use taxis in New York, you have to pay extra amount as tax because they have public transportation, right? So that is a disincentive. That is like, discouraging people from using taxis. They want people to use public transportation. Even MTA taxis are there on their own vehicles also. If you are using, if the people are using their own vehicles, also they have to pay the tax. One of the highest taxes are, in New York is nothing compared to London. If I want to drive my own car to London every day, it costs me close to 20 to 30 pounds because of the traffic problem. Why London guys don't want to bring your car? To avoid traffic congestion, they will ask you not to bring your car. Use the public transport system. Underground rail system is there, not tube. You have to use tube. And then you have to use the buses. So bringing your car to office in London is very, very. On top of it, there will be parking charges. Per hour, it was around 7 pounds per hour. You can imagine if your office for 10 hours, you have to pay 70 pounds on parking charges also. So that is how London metro guys don't allow people, discourage people from driving vehicles to control traffic congestion. Which columns? So I have not taken the date time columns because they are different data type. They are not object calls, right? They are different data type. Now, what to deal with it? I'll tell you how to deal with them. We'll work on them. Then I have location IDs. Location IDs are geographical latitudes and longitudes. They're also different data type. Suppose you are working on geographical maps, then you need location IDs and drop IDs. Otherwise, we don't need them. Rest of the variables I have taken. Now find the missing value percentage. Dot is null. Dot sort underscore values is equal to false divided by numcalls dot shape square bracket 0. Before that, run numcalls dot describe also. We have to run numcalls describe first and then the percentage of missing values. So passenger count, minimum is 1 passenger, median is 1 passenger, maximum is 9 passengers. Typically in taxi, we can have how many? 4 or 5, right? So there might be some taxis which can accommodate 9 people. Congestion surcharge also, lowest is minus 2.75, maximum is 2.75, median is 0. Median 0 congestion surcharge. So what should we do? So what imputation should we do? Median imputation. Because can we have 1.2%, 1.3%? Mean is 1.3, right? We cannot have 1.3 passenger. It can be 1 passenger, 2 passenger, or 3 passengers. Whole numbers only, right? Passenger count. So median is how much? 1. So median imputation. Similarly, for surcharge, also median is 0. Mean is 0.76. Either surcharge is 2.75 or there is no surcharge is fixed amount, right? Surcharge is a fixed amount. Either you pay it or you don't pay it. Either you pay 0 or you pay 2.75. Here also median is 0. So we can do median imputation for both the variables. Median imputation for both underscore count underscore surcharge. So we are missing values in 3 variables, right? Calculate the percentage missing values using the same command what we have used in percentage missing values for object calls 0.098. Okay. So what should we do with the missing values here? Categorical data, na? Object calls. Filling with most frequent, because already the most frequent is very large category, right? See here, 52,603. Rate code ID 1 is 52,603. Next highest is which is 3. By adding this 6121 to this, will it make any difference? No. Already that is a very large category. It's a huge category. So by adding this to that, it will not make any difference. If they are very close to one another, then we have to think. If they are very close to one another, that means the bars are not like this. The bars are like this. Okay. But if the bars are very close to one another, you have to be very, very careful. Then safe strategy would be keep it as, right? If there are too many missing values, already there's a huge difference between the categories, then we can go with the largest category. Same thing for the next. See here, 36,000, double the size of 18,000. Again, we can do more things. See here, 6,120, category 1 is 53,000. Huge difference is there. By adding the 6,121 to those, it will not make any, because already the categories are very, very huge. You guys are understanding, right? If they are closer to one another, then you have to, but if there is a huge difference in categorizations, go with the largest category. Got the logic right? All of you understood the logic here? That's why I printed the value counts. To understand whether we have any larger categories. We have very large categories. And the difference between categories is also very, very wide. Very wide difference is there between. Yeah? Hello?
Yes, sir. What is meant by known, sir? Torah and FWD flag. In first column, what is known?
Here, right? None.
Yes.
That means there is no store and forward flag. Store and forward flag means whether the data will be stored. The flag indicates whether the trip record was held in vehicle memory. Vehicles have GPS, right? Vehicles have GPS. They will store the trip data within their own memory. If it is connected to central server, immediately the trip data will be updated into central server. Uber uses central server. All the trip data of Uber taxis will not be stored on the vehicle. It will be stored in the Uber servers, right? Because there is no GPS system in the car, right? People use, drivers use mobile app. So trip data is stored in servers. Whereas in yellow taxis and green taxis, they have a GPS system built into the car. So all the trip data will be recorded into that GPS system. Once the driver goes to the taxi parking, there they connect it to the server and extract the data. So you can see here, store and forward flag. The vehicle data is stored in the vehicle memory. Forward flag means it has been forwarded into it is clearly here. No, we will not drop null values. You have to, dropping is not a strategy. Dropping is not a strategy. You have to keep them in. See, dropping will happen if you think the variable is not important. We dropped e-hail fee column because the whole column is missing, right? If you remember Kegel house price, we have very large missing values in alley, fence, pool, QC, miscellaneous feature, right? If a house has a swimming pool, the price of the house will be very high. If the house has a swimming pool or not will decide the price of the house. Swimming pool is there means the price will go up. If there is no swimming pool, less will happen. So it's an important variable. So what we did, we retained the vehicle. There were only 10 observations were there. 2,909 observations are missing. So what we did, we imputed with the word, because we know that 10 houses that have the swimming pool, the price will be affected, right? So you have to understand the variable importance. Once you understand the variable importance, if you feel it is an important variable, you have to deal with it with some strategy, right? In US, if a house has the fence, they have to pay extra tax. If you see in movies and all, houses don't have fences in US. In US, if you want to build a fence between your house and the other house, you have to pay extra tax. Okay. Now, if you are paying extra tax, that also you will charge for when you are selling the house, right? So whether the house has a fence or not will be affecting the sale price of the house. So fence also we have imputed with the word missing or not available. And some houses have fencing, the price will be. So you have to understand the variable and then decide what to do with it. Right? You can't simply delete variable. If you're deleting, it has to have a strong reason. Like in this case, e-health fee. E-health fee is like if you're booking through an app. That is also there here. E-health fee. Now this is old data. E-health fee was added at a later stage. This is old data. Okay. So e-health fee means whether you're booking the app through mobile or not. They stopped booking vehicles through mobiles. Earlier that was there 2 years back before COVID. Now you can't book taxis in New York with mobile. Right? E-health fee was there in earlier before COVID when you are booking taxis through mobile. Now there is no e-health in New York City. So for call in, object calls dot columns, object calls square bracket call is equal to object calls square bracket call dot fill any, object calls square bracket call dot value underscore counts dot idx max. Fill it with the max of. So first it will create a frequency table, identifies the most frequency, corresponding name of the most frequency, index of the most frequency will be the missing replacement. Yeah, I have to pay it by 25th, right? I will pay by 25th. Now, if you look at the categories here, particularly look at these two categories, rate code ID and payment type. No, both are IDs. No? Rate code ID is also categorical 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, these are very few categories, right? Very small list there. So when you do get dummies, new columns will be created, right? That means this will have, if you look at this category 6, only one data point will be there. Rest of the column will be null, will be no zeros will be there, right? So this will create problems in your data. So when you have this small category, see 236, 4, 3, and 6, they're very, very small. The category is very, very small, right? And it will create new columns, which is of no. Similarly, here also, see 3, 4, 5, very, very small, right? Which of news? Category 5 is only one. When you have some small categories, you can combine them into one category. You will combine them into one category. See, combining categories, smaller categories into one single category will help you a lot when you're doing. Otherwise, for one observation, one column will be created. For 41 observations, one whole column will be, and for 158 observations, one whole column will be. Rather, if you combine them into one, that means you will eliminate unnecessary column creations. You will eliminate unnecessary columns. So we can merge this or combine these categories into. So let us say in rate code ID 2436, right? 2346, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 6.0, right? See, what did I do here? Array 2, 3, 4, 6 were separate categories. Now I combined into one category called 2, 3, 4, 6. I know it is rate code 2, 3, 4, and 6 combined is 336. Now from 6 levels we came down to, and for our naming also we have combined it as 2, 3, 4, 6. So that we know it is either rate code 2, 3, or 4, or so that you can refer to it easily. And it is also a number. So I have combined rate code 2, 3, 4, 6 into 1. Smaller categories, we are combining them into one singular category. This happens in e-commerce data, retail data, we have to do this. Smaller categories, particularly in male and female dresses, male and female clothes, you have plus size. There are very few, right? I think plus sizes are now 6XL, 5XL, 7XL for male and female categorizations will be there. So you might, people buy your standard 42, 40, 50, 46, all those sizes they will buy. For women dresses, they have 4, 6, 8 or something like that, they will buy. But there will be also plus sizes, which will be bought in smaller quantities. So what we will do, we will merge all the plus sizes into one single category called plus size. Myntra data, we had this problem. Plus sizes were very few. Standard sizes, people were buying standard sizes. That range will be there, na? Standard sizes range is okay, but plus sizes is very few. So what we did, we combined all the plus sizes into one single. Now here also we can see here 3, 4, 5. Very few are there. 3, 4, 5. So I'll create a new category called 3, 4, 5. So when you're creating categories like that, you create so that you can relate to it. Tomorrow, if somebody asks you what is the 3, 4, 5, you should tell him, okay, payment type 3, 4, 5 are combined into one single, easy for reference also. right? So let us do the same thing what we have done with the object calls dot, what happened, there's space, so small letter, payment type is equal to object calls dot payment type dot replace 3.0, 4.0, combining smaller levels into one common category. We keep them as missing only. We keep them as missing only. Okay. Green taxi df is equal to pd dot concat, so square bracket, num calls, comma, object calls, comma, axis is equal to 1. So we are combining data frames. That's why I'm not converted object calls into dummies now. We will do it later. We have to do some EDA, right, to understand what we are doing. So the EDA questions will be rate code ID for different. What is the average? What is the average tip and underscore amount? Is it tip underscore amount for different relationship tip amount? Is there a relationship between tip amount and trip distance? What is the average tip amount for different passenger counts? Is there relationship between? Tell me, why did I choose total amount? You see total amount repeating, right? Why did I choose total amount? Because it is the that is the variable we are studying, right? So it has to be there in our analysis. Now, why did I choose tip amount?
On ID, it gets a tip or
Tip amount. Yes, you are telling something.
for the driver may getting the tip amount of.
What is drivers and people's most concerned tips?
What's
It's very important for driver, right? After total amount, if I ask you to find out which is the other variable which is significant is tip amount or trip distance. Now, compared to trip distance and tip amount, which is more important? Tip amounts will be important. Take for example, restaurants. You are trying to do restaurant data analysis. Tips are very important for the people, right? How much amount they are getting. That's the same thing here, taxi drivers, right? Uber, Ola guys also ask for extra if there is went through traffic and all. They ask for tip amounts, right? You can tip in Ola and Uber app, right? You can tip in Swiggy, Zomato also, you can add tips, right? Tips are critical, right? Tip amount in service industry. In service industry, tip is very, very important variable. That is why I'm doing tips analysis. I can do analysis on trip distance, whatever is there. But compared to trip distance, what is more important? So you should have that knowledge, understanding of the data, and you should choose variables based on the understanding of the data. So total amount is important for the business. Tips are important for the drivers, right? So you can do tips analysis. That's why I have used tips as an important. Now, another thing you can also do is trip distance analysis. You can also work with trip distance. So you can take your break. After break, you can come and work on this analysis. It will give further analysis of the data. Then you will have a better understanding of the. Please take your break and then come and continue. Yeah, do it slowly, no problem. Tomorrow we have class, no? Yes. Tomorrow we will continue, no problem. We'll do it tomorrow when the session begins. You have time at home, try it.